Week 16 fantasy football notes. James Conner stays on fire. 5 out of 7 of his last games, he's had 18-plus fantasy points. 4 have been over 21 fantasy points. Atlanta continues to emphasize their rookies. 12, 11, and 9 targets for Drake London in the last 3 games. Tyler Algier saw 22 touches in Week 16, and Desmond Ridder threw the ball 33 times. 8 straight games under 13 fantasy points for Mark Andrews. This guy misses Lamar Jackson. Just like last year, T. Higgins goes off in Week 16. Dak Prescott had a really nice game, which led to a monster CeeDee Lamb week. 10 receptions for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. Season high 117 receiving yards for Jerry Jeudy. If you look at his 5 last full games, he's been pretty solid. 3 out of 4 of DJ Shark's last games, he's had at least 94 receiving yards. He went for a season high 108 in Week 16. 5 touchdowns in the last 4 games for A.J. Dillon. He is on a scoring streak. Brandon Cooks came back and showed some fantasy life, which is good because next week they have Jacksonville, who's a good matchup. Across weeks 13 through 16, Evan Ingram for the tight end position has ranked number 1 in targets, number 1 in receptions, number 1 in receiving yards, tied for number 2 in receiving touchdowns, and number 1 in total fantasy points. Guys on fire. Cam Akers and Tyler Higbee were both week winners for fantasy, 34.7 for Akers and 30.4 for Higbee. Devontae Adams is extremely cold for fantasy, 10.1, 6.8, and then 3.5 fantasy points. He's trending in the wrong direction. Back-to-back games for Jalen Waddle with a receiving touchdown and some good yardage. Both Justin Jefferson and TJ Hockenson went off this week. Hockenson had a career day catching 13 of 16 targets for 109 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Mac Jones was pretty good through the air, leading to a big Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers day. We saw signs from Week 15, so Alvin Kamara had his bounce-back game. Isaiah Hodgins might be a guy to have on your radar. Weeks 13 and 14, he scored 15-ish points, and then he had a really big week in Week 16. Gardner Minshew ended up having a good day. This led to Devonta Smith finishing with 113 yards and 2 touchdowns, along with A.J. Brown over 100 yards. You can see the streak below, but Najee Harris has been trending up with his fantasy scoring. Based off of the last 2 games, George Kittle loves him some Brock Purdy. He's been going off. Big receiving day for Leonard Fournette. Both him and Rachaad White scored well this week, and they have a plus Carolina matchup next week. Malik Willis had his 3rd start, and as you can tell from above, it doesn't equal good things for the pass catchers in that system. 9 targets in 2 out of 3 of Jahan Dotson's last games, 16.4, 20.5, and 19.6 fantasy points the last 3 weeks. He is showing us why he was a first-round draft pick. He's got some good touchdown upside as well.